Welcome back to the Nerdrotic channel. My name is Gary Beekler. I'm in San Francisco, California, and I come to you from nerdrotic.com. And down in San Diego is Dennis Bethalkis. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing much better because we're reviewing Venture Brothers Episode 8, The Terminus Mandate.
The Terminus Mandate. And this is indeed not the last episode. We get two more after this, I believe. So I'm very excited about that. I was going by what Google said, and I thought Google always told the truth.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I was very happy when we had a couple of commenters going, man, we got two more episodes. What are you talking about? And I'm like, yes.
Yes.
Best news I've heard all month.
Because we're occasionally wrong.
Yeah, like within the last minute or so, or 30 seconds. Well, ever since I got married for the second time.
See what you did there.
Yeah. So, by the way, shirt of the week last week was the big villain was, I'm gonna stand up warning, Evil Mentor program. It's very soft and delicate, and I like it a lot. Thank you, Jackson Public. Titmouse.
Yes. So for those of you who have not seen the episode, spoiler alert, we are going to spoil the shit out of it. This is going to be a quick one because that's the way we're going to roll on this one. So if you haven't watched the episode, go and watch it, then come back and you can watch this thing when it becomes a video.
Yeah, we're just gonna exactly. Spoiler warning. Very good, Dennis. Thank you very much, and thank you, Viking Bitch, for the wonderful paddles. And
thank you.
Yeah, the reason it's short is because we have another show tonight. Also, this was not a ton happened in this episode. It's still a great episode. A slow episode of Venture Brothers is better than 99% of everything that's on television. Also, the last two we're going to be spending a lot more time on. So
yes. So just to get into this real quick, we open up with basically a couple of members of the guild, Red Death, Phantom Limb, and Dr. and Mrs. the Monarch meeting with the Peril Partnership because the Peril Partnership is not getting their kickbacks that Wide Whale is giving them to be scared of the guild. So we have a new character named Blind Rage, who is basically a parody of Daredevil. It's hilarious. And he's man, some of the stuff that he says to Dr. and Mrs. the Monarch, and your breasts are spilling out from your brassiere. Is it your monthlies?
Nah, I know it's not. I could smell those.
Yeah.
Yes. This show can get away with so much, and that makes me very happy. It does.
And over in the corner of Vincenzo's, so Vincenzo's, by the way, is run by Wide Whale. He's the one who owns that. That's where Hank was working as a pizza boy, if you remember earlier. And Dr. Venture is actually over in the corner talking to Night Dick, who we've seen before. He's actually the Spirit, if you will. That's their parody of the Spirit, and Ghost Rider and the Spectre and a couple other things kind of thrown in. Yep. And Night Dick is telling him about this woman that he's looking into that he likes called Teresa Dide, and how everyone that she's married, she didn't exist until she was 25. And every man that she's married has ended up in a closed coffin. As they say, closed casket funeral.
She treats him like a god, though, beforehand.
Yeah. And as he says, she gives him the works. And Doc says the works, specifically like no orifice off limits here. Or are we on a different page? And of course, he says different page here. I'm on obituaries, and you're on like Penthouse Forum. So really good stuff here. So the guild basically says, they get their ultimatum from the Peril Partnership. She goes, I'm going to bring it to them and we'll find out what's happening. So the guild meets and votes to pay the Peril Partnership. And Red Death's like, you know what? I'll drop off the money. It's on my way home. That's what he says. That's your first warning right there, by the way, about a theory that I've got coming up. And we find out that Dr. and Mrs. the Monarch has gone through the guild a statute that basically and found out that there was never a mandate about 13 people being on the guild, so they don't have to fill 13 people. That was a sovereign's thing. That was his little embellishment to it. Yeah. And the charter actually says the council constituting the supernuity, thus appointed, are reborn as the governing body. And they're like, and Dr. Zeno goes, okay, I'll be your Huckleberry. What the hell does that mean? And she goes, basically, we just need to give up being villains and we can be on the council, just the six of us that are here. And so she comes up with this idea that everyone gets one last arching assignment. So they all get little red cards with their arching assignments, and that's going to be it.
That's it. They got to retire from arching because they're going to arch collectively from now on. So.
Yes. And we go back to our Dog Venture, and him and Hank are on the computer there, and he's trying to view Teresa Dide's pictures and stuff like that, and trying to friend her on we don't know what, because they don't really say. They're being coy about what they're on. And Doc goes off about, how he's a man and needs to be touched. He hasn't been touched since since Dean's graduation, which leads me to believe, does he know that he was in the VR thing? Because obviously he had sex during the orgy, right?
Yeah, well, yes. So unless he found out later.
Had to have found out. Yeah,
that's still sex. I mean, right? I mean,
well, not with a woman. He wants a woman to touch him. As
okay, well, yeah. I mean, that's semantics. I mean, it's still arriving at the end of the journey.
Yeah, yeah. He says he wants a woman to please him and not to treat him as a pathetic man.
According to Lando Calrissian, that is sex, by the way.
Yes, it is with a robot. This is true. Yeah. So Dr. Mrs. the Monarch tells the Monarch what her plans are, that she's going to do one last villain job and then that's it for her. And he's pissed. And he actually go sulk down in his little cave. And Gary tries to cheer her up by saying he's not going to go kill himself or anything. It's like, what the hell are you talking about?
It's really not working, Gary.
Yeah. And so she finds out that she's actually going to be arching Novia.
Yes.
And Novia was the one who defeated her when she tried to steal the Faith Diamond with her Moppets.
Oh, the Moppets.
Yes, and both Moppets are dead, unfortunately. All right.
Yeah, it was good to see him back, though, for an episode.
Yeah. And we see Phantom Limb. He's on the phone with his arch and talking about, they're going to meet in Central Park to do their final thing.
Old school.
Old school, exactly. Yes. Fisticuffs, man to man.
Man to man, mano a mano.
Yeah. And Wide Whale gets Curtis Sleewood of the Guardian Angels. And they're like, wait a minute, didn't you, aren't we good? He goes, yeah, he's good people. And he orders his henchmen to go out and beat him up, which he has reservations about because he's like, we played poker every Thursday night. And he's like, just go and slap him around and then take him out for some chops.
Jody says, well, that's deliberate, isn't it? I mean, it's all in his mind or virtual. Well, no, it was virtual except for the sucking machine that was on his Johnson, his little Rusty Venture. So, I guess it is
Rusty
debatable.
Venture Jr. Well,
yes.
and of course, Dr. Z ends up getting Johnny. Oh, Johnny.
Oh, God.
We have a flashback with the Anubis mask.
Yes.
And Buddy the dog. And oh, God, it's just hilarious. And his henchmen running away because they think that Anubis is pissed off. And Johnny goes, your henchmen aren't very good, are they, mister? And he goes, no, they're not. They're going to be executed later on. And of course, Radical Left gets Right Wing as his
yes,
which is his other half.
Yep.
Which I thought was pretty funny. And of course, Red Mantle and Dragoon put off opening theirs until dinner and an episode of Downton Abbey.
We'll watch one more episode before we open the envelope.
Exactly. Oh, you do that really well.
Thank you. Well, okay, so it's like assisted self-love. Yeah, kind of like assisted suicide, except masturbation, Jody. That's it. And you live afterwards.
So Red Death,
a happy ending instead of a sad ending.
Yeah. So we see Blind Rage standing there in his
Dr. Kevorkian comes in and goes, do you want a happy ending or a sad ending?
Oh.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Oh, man.
You're all weak, folks.
So Blind Rage is standing there in the alley in his Daredevil costume, which looks like, he's got flames on and everything. And Red Death is walking up to him through the mist, and he never opens up his envelope. He crumples it up and tosses it. So we don't know who he's supposed to arch. Mm-hmm. And Blind Rage is basically giving him shit, calling him a 70-year-old errand boy and taunting him. And Red Death just walks right up to him and punches him out, knocks him out with one punch. Yeah,
the haymaker right there, and he's down.
He's down. And I mean, this is actually some of the good stuff. I mean, Red Death has blind rage tied to a railroad track. He's good. You're awake. He goes, a little history lesson for you. And he talks about the genuine villain and about ticking time bombs with the 3 sticks of dynamite being classic, and how
because it gives you hope because you
yeah,
can escape.
Yeah, and tying them to a railroad track, like blind rage is tied to a railroad track. And he goes, it gives you hope that you're going to escape. And he goes, oh, what's that? And you can see the lights of a train coming. He goes, maybe you're going to die, maybe you won't, maybe you'll escape. And he basically says, if you do escape, tell the Peril Partnership that the guild isn't scared of punks. If you don't, sorry.
Yep. And somebody, Mario Ramirez. So the Red Death did kill Blind Rage. I didn't get that in the first view. It didn't show it, Mario. So it is comic books, and if you don't show a death, then it didn't really happen. But with Venture Brothers, they off a lot of people. So I'd say it's 60% chance he's dead, probably a little more. But yeah, I think he killed him. It depends. It looked like he was on the closer track to me.
Yeah,
Brain was on the inside track. But
we don't know. Yeah, we don't know
for sure. Know for sure, Mario. We don't know.
Yeah, and that's what I like about that one. It was kind of good. Yep. And Dr. Z goes to Johnny's in the Johnny's rehab center.
Barnaby Jones also says, plus it's a callback to the Daredevil movie, which it was a little bit there. Yes, when Daredevil actually killed somebody. Yes,
that's true. Yeah, in the subway scene. That's right.
Yep. You are right.
Very nice.
I'm going to sound like the biggest nerd. I actually like the director's cut of that film. I do.
Yes.
That's one of the most nerd sayings of all time. But
Dr. Z goes to the Johnny's rehab center, and of course it's past visiting hours, but because he wrote such a nice note, the lady's going to see if she can talk to his counselors and
oh, that's so cute.
And Red Mantle and Dragoon, of course, are still dragging out opening the envelope. They're going to watch a couple more episodes of Downton Abbey until that happens, and
possibly after dinner.
Possibly.
And then one more episode.
Lady O'Pear and Gary, now dressed as a Moppet, track down Novia to Ventec, and they're like, holy shit. And they're kind of freaking out because they're like, if we have to go into Ventec and see Doc Venture, the Monarch's going to lose his shit and he'll never forgive her. And she's kind of really freaking out about this. And also Gary starts freaking out. He goes, you know what, so much has changed in the last year. I'm going to let you cut off my ponytail. Which she really wants to do.
Yes, I really wanted her to do that as well.
Yeah, and so they end up seeing Novia, and she feels really bad and stupid, and ends up breaking down and crying on Novia.
Movie Fanobi says Dennis also likes the director's cut of Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
Oh, Heaven's Gate.
A little bit.
Heaven's Gate. The secret director's cut. That's a good
Heaven Can Wait. Yeah. Dr. Z. We go back to Dr. Z and Johnny, and basically he says that he asked his wife and Roboboy, and they were okay with Johnny moving in. And then it gets weird. He goes, because I love you. And he goes, oh, no, in the platonic sense, not, like, Plato, who was little boys.
Although it was totally okay. Yeah, although it was totally okay back then because ancient Greece.
Oh my God. Yeah. It just kind of went everywhere on that point. And Johnny just goes, how about you just give me a couple of, let me borrow me a couple bucks. That's all. And then things, kind of get a little bit awkward. And he goes, oh, well, thanks for the Anubis mask. You want me to go run and hide just for like old times? He goes, oh, would you? Which is all he wants. He just wants one last little run.
Just one more time. Yes.
And finally, Red Mantle and Dragoon open up their envelope and find out that all their enemies are dead. And so they have no arches to hench. Or no enemies.
That guy from Home Improvement. Lucky we're not going out tonight.
Yeah, Al. They wanted to beat up Al from Home Improvement.
Al from Home Improvement. Who was the girl that they were talking about from Downton Abbey too?
It was the old Duchess, I believe.
Yeah. So you what do you call her? You foul bitch! You have my heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mine too. Okay. So Movie Fanobi says, I bet Gary likes hearing Gary being said in the Venture Brother episodes. Not that narcissistic, Movie Fanobi, but no, I don't, because every time the name Gary is used in film or television, it's with somebody who's kind of lame. It's kind of a stereotype lame person name. So
this Gary really isn't that lame. to tell you the truth. I
No,
mean,
no. Well, he's gotten much better.
yeah,
Much
he's
better.
gotten a lot better.
But he had a ponytail, so
He did have the ponytail. Yes, he
yeah,
did.
he's pretty lame.
Yeah.
I mean, he's likable lame, but he's still lame. He's a henchman, and he's like the last man standing too.
So we go back to Doc, and he's hopped up on any anti-venom, atropine, and some other anti-poison drugs, and he's meeting Novia, who we find out is the woman who's going to date him there, and he's trying to make moves on her, and she's just not, buying it. It's pretty funny, and Brock is hiding out in the bushes with a rifle trained on her. And Doc's going, is this going to work or not? Or, are we going to do something? And he passes out. And that's when you see the little laser dot go on her chest to her head. And she goes, that wasn't me. That wasn't me. Oh, man. And so we end up seeing Sheila, or Dr. Mrs. the Monarch, in the limo with Gary. And she's cutting off his ponytail, talking about what just happened and how she couldn't believe that, she broke down in front of Novia. And he goes, well, at least she didn't see you barf. You did that afterwards, after she left. And they're talking about how, things might be over between her and the Monarch at this point because of things that are happening.
Yep.
So all about change is what this is all about.
This is my career.
Yeah.
You want me to go back? Yeah, I want you to go back to like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
This wasn't a thing. Yeah. Yeah.
And
well, that leads up to something, though.
Yeah, so the end of the stinger there, we see that all the guild council have given up being a villain except for Wide Whale. And then Madam Councilwoman, when she's offered, what her vote is, she doesn't answer. She's like, and we go to black at that point.
We do.
Also, Red Death never tells the guild about what he did about fucking over the Peril Partnership's deal. Basically not giving them money and possibly killing Blind Rage in the process.
Yes.
So
I always thought Red Death was he's involved in some sort of conspiracy.
Yes.
Because he's way too willing to jump into this. He was like, and everybody in the guild except for he's the last one taking it seriously, and this could be just him taking it seriously. It could be on the surface level, but this is Venture Brothers, come on. But everybody else in the guild just wants to like kick back and go to parties and not arch seriously anymore. They're all done.
Yeah,
but maybe Dr. Mrs. Monarch.
Oh, and by the way, I just want to say we also had Phantom Limb and Colonel Hunter Gather out on the bridge, literally measuring their penises to
old school.
Old school. That was it. And Phantom Limb won by an inch.
So he says. But I don't know. Colonel Hunter Gather looked like he did not want. He's all, are we really doing this? Where are we measuring? At the base.
We're measuring from the top. And he goes, don't be silly. It's from the base.
From the base. It's all about that base. Sorry.
Oh, man. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that Red Death has a plan in motion, and what he's using the Peril partnership here to actually get it. We've wiped out pretty much OSI. OSI is down to their last couple of people. So is the guild. The guild really has.
It seems like they're whittling things down quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Viking bitch says Doc is immune to most drugs and poisons. Years of tolerance built up. Plunk.
Yeah.
Damn, that was funny. That was funny.
And we've seen a lot of change. That's what this whole season's been about. It's been about change. And I think we're going to get a really big change at the end here. Like a radical change in the whole dynamic of this series, if you will. And it's kind of interesting that they've went this way with an animated series,
Yeah.
That was started off as a parody of Johnny Quest.
And it's turned into this thing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I know. It's that good. And, we haven't seen, where's Dr. Orpheus? We have, there's a lot of characters we have not seen. And it has been really focused on just the Monarch and Dr. Venture. And there's always like some side characters. So there hasn't been a ton of Brock either.
No, there hasn't. And
but it's been very entertaining. And then Hank and Dean are kind of relegated to the back now. a bit. But again, it's really entertaining. This isn't a complaint. I think there's so many fucking cool characters in the show. All I'm thinking about, because I'm a stupid toy collector, as you might be able to see, is I want a Red Death action figure.
Oh, I do too. With the horse.
With the horse. Yes. I want him to light up.
Yes.
And yeah. And I want him to have Clancy Brown's voice.
Not the Chosen Juan says Red Death for Sovereign. Yes.
Yes.
And by the way, I love the username, man. Not the Chosen One.
I like that. That's good.
That's awesome.
That's actually very good.
So we're going to get to a little bit of the chat here as well. Like I said, since we're on a little bit of a tight
it's going to have to be a brief chat. We're going to only get. We usually don't do this, so apologies. It's my fault. Well, it's traffic. There's a thing called Bridge and Tunnel here in San Francisco. It's the Bridge and Tunnel people. It's the people from around the Bay Area. They all descend on San Francisco on the weekends. Tonight was just particularly bad. So yeah. R.I.P. Gary's ponytail.
Yeah, Viking bitch, drop him a measure, and she says my reaction. Oh my god, ha 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 ha. Yeah, that was beautiful. That was just awesome. And then also radical left and right wing playing Clue.
I know.
to duel it out, and best out of 5 on that one. Just all the different. I mean, and they're really not. I mean, the only brutality that we really had was Red Death and Blind Rage.
That was pretty brutal. That was good though. And seeing Red Death be Red Death, because he's always so cool and calm, and gentleman-like.
Oh man, that was awesome. And we had Viking bitch says Doc had sex with that hose in the VR. Yeah, and again, I go back to, so did they tell him? Did he find out what happened? Because obviously he knows he didn't have sex in that orgy at this point. And so does he know that he was in the VR system, that they, his teleporter's been stolen? Something that needs to be wrapped up a little bit. We also have Penn Farm Girl says Jody suggesting they're talking about where it's located at.
Well, that's a personal question.
Where the episode is located at. Sorry about that.
It's on Adult Swim. And it's only in America, right? America right now. And then Sunday midnight, you will be able to see the rest of the episode. We like to jump on these things early. But I can do a little programming thing. The way things are playing out, the next 2 will be earlier. You will benefit.
Nice.
So we'll have earlier shows, and we might actually move Friday Night Tights up a half an hour if we can. So
Carrie Dalton says, did anyone notice Johnny was wearing an old Ocean Pacific OP t-shirt? Yeah, I did. Yes. And I started laughing because he was wearing some paraphernalia that, how should we say, a lot of people that are going through a tough time end up wearing, especially when they're going through rehab like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Mork says in quotes, this Gary isn't that lame. Quoting me.
That's that lame. That might be our t-shirt right there. That's on that t-shirt. We're not that lame. That we should probably end it on that one, because we got a whole other show. We're going to talk about all kinds of other stuff that I'm sure many other YouTubers have already talked about. The only difference is we haven't talked about it. So you'll hear us stating probably their opinions exactly. So I don't know, but you get to talk to us, so that's cool. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. It's not that lame. It's not that lame. So all of our audio and podcasts can be found at nerderotic.com. We also like, share, and subscribe. If you like what you see, please subscribe to our channel. We love subscribers. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/nerderotic, where we give you stuff. Check it out. Dennis has a Twitter. It's @TheForce. Mine is @nerderotics. The chat, we have the best chat on YouTube. Thank you. Look at all those wrenches. Look at those beautiful wrenches. Yes, thank you so much. And thank you again, Viking Bitch, for the paddles, for the spoiler paddles. And if we do spoil an episode, we do paddle each other with the paddles. So our next show is coming right up. If you're watching this live, if it's a video, then go back and watch the show we're going to do in the future. It is Friday Night Tights podcast, and Susan will be joining us, and we'll talk about a lot of other stuff. Dennis, take us out.
Children of Earth, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you might find yourself tied to a railroad track and being schooled by Red Death on what it is to be a gentleman villain.
May the small folks sing songs of your greatness. Ciao.